Hey Poohs, welcome back to another video. In today's video, y'all, I have a shrimp bowl. I have shrimp, corn on the cob, potatoes, eggs, and sausage. And then I have my spicy butter sauce. It will be back, I promise you. Just give your girl some time, okay? I got y'all, I promise, okay? But let's go ahead. Oh my God, y'all, this was smelling so good. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. We, man. So good. So how everybody been? Let me know down below in the comments. Keep hitting the other bowl or something. When I tell y'all, I have a true crime for y'all today. But if you don't like true crime, I promise you, this is not a heavy true crime at all. 1 through 10, this true crime is literally a 1. Not even lying. I wouldn't do that to you. It's definitely a 1. It's an interesting one. Where my lemon? Yeah, but how's everybody been? Thank y'all for watching my last video. Y'all have to make y'all a shrimp bowl. Make y'all one of these. Make one this weekend or tomorrow. So good. Ooh, y'all, that's fire. Uh-oh. Oops. Did I tell y'all thank you for watching my last video? I have so much shrimp. Man. I wish I can share with y'all. It's like it tastes better. It tastes like it gets better every time I take another bite, y'all. Every time I take another bite, I swear, it just gets better. This video gonna be really long. Just a heads up. Y'all know I love these potatoes. I guess like from me squeezing that lemon in here, I just love that lemon taste that's in here. Excuse me, y'all. I do that every time I eat a potato. It just be so good. But what y'all eating on today? Today Monday. What everybody eating? Y'all be getting down, okay? With the food. Y'all always saying y'all eating something good. You know what? Let me go for an egg. Hold on, y'all. Let's go for an egg. I had forgot to get some bigger lemons. This lemon was for my salad, but I had forgot to get some lemon for my seafood. So now I'm using these little baby tiny lemons. I mean, it's getting the job done, but I like the bigger lemons for my seafood. I promise you, I just wish, I say that all the time. I just wish somebody was here to eat this with me. Because it just be so good. It do. Y'all see me eating today. I could low-key eat a potato and I could low-key do a potato and corn and sausage mukbang. That's how much I love corn and potatoes. I could literally do that. You gotta get to the bottom, you know? Whoa. Don't ask me why I put this much shrimp in here. I literally dumped the whole bag. So these are colossal shrimps, y'all. Sometimes I get the jumbo ones, but this time I got colossal because they actually was on sale at HEB. So I got these. I love a sale. Oh, that's so good. I know y'all staring at these eggs in the front, if you like eggs. Sometimes I be feeling the yolk. I said oak. Sometimes I be feeling the yolk and sometimes I don't. It just all depends. Oh, when I'm feeling like So if y'all ain't noticed, I'm about to eat a little bit. Like I said, this video gonna be lengthy, but hopefully y'all watch. You know, this video might be like 45 minutes or something like that. I remember when I used to do my true crime videos used to be like around that time, 45 minutes. But y'all used to still watch. I was like, okay. So this one may be lengthy. Because I don't really want to eat this and talk at the same time. I really don't. I want to eat something else. Eat something else. Okay, let's get into this corn. I already know this bite about to go crazy. That's the one thing about the corn, it sticks. It sticks to your teeth. One of my Poohs in my last video, she was like, girl, you can eat. Cause I had 8. I had 8 like 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn, I had 8 6 pieces of 6 slices of pizza. But I was telling her like, girl, don't be fooled. It's because those slices were super thin and they just wasn't dense. Like Little Caesars, Little Caesars, I could literally only eat 2, 3 tops. They bread and stuff is more dense. Okay, we about to get into this true crime, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So I'm back. I had to go change. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this true crime. So it's this lady named Victoria. She is a free fall skydiving instructor. She has completed over 2,600 jumps without any major incidents. In 2010, she meets this man named Emil. Emil is a physical trainer instructor in the British Royal Army. So they started to date, got to know each other, fell in love. About a year later, they got married in Cape Town, South Africa. 2012, they welcomed their first child, which was a baby girl. 2015, they welcomed a baby boy. So Emil decided that he wanted to give his wife a jump to celebrate them having a newborn baby. Victoria wasn't really feeling it because she was like, I just gave birth 5 weeks ago. She hadn't jumped in about a year, so she really wasn't feeling it. And she also was considering giving up skydiving altogether, and I believe even being an instructor. So she wasn't really feeling the whole going to jump, but she didn't want to disappoint her husband. So she was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. So that afternoon, she decided to go ahead and jump, but she couldn't because the weather just wasn't up to par. The weather conditions was terrible. The next morning, which is Easter Sunday, she was like, okay, she ready to jump. The weather was still pretty poor, but her and 11 others decided that they were just going to wait out the bad weather. At this time, as they waiting out the weather, the bad weather, Victoria was getting really, really nervous. She was like, man, look, I haven't jumped in a year. I just gave birth 5 weeks ago. She just wasn't feeling it. And all the weather delays, she was just like, yeah, she was really, really nervous. So the weather finally clears up just enough for them to jump. However, Victoria and the 11 other jumpers, they was like, you know what? We're going to do something that's called a hop and pop. You would jump out of a plane at a lower altitude, and once you jump out of the plane, seconds later, you would deploy your parachute. Victoria and 11 others, they decided that they were going to jump out of the plane around 4,000 feet. Typically, I believe skydivers jump out of a plane around 13,000 feet. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. So all the 11 jumpers, they jump out of the plane, they deploy their main parachute. Now it's time for Victoria to jump out of the plane. So she jumps out of the plane, and seconds later, she tries to deploy her main parachute. She realized that her main parachute was tangled up. So it was a lot of cords tangled around her parachute. So she wasn't able to deploy her main parachute. She tries to untangle the cords, but she couldn't. No big deal, right? She's a professional, so no big deal to her. She's not new to this, She was like, that's what she has the reserve parachute for, right? So she pulls her reserve parachute, so it deployed, but she realized that it would only open and fill up halfway. Victoria, she was falling fast, and she hits the ground. Victoria survived. After her fall, so many people was rushing over to see her. When she was conscious, she said that it was just like, why everybody over me like this? Like why everybody over me? Because Victoria, she didn't feel any pain. Victoria suffered a lot of major injuries. I believe she had a fractured ribs. Like she had fractured almost all of her ribs on one side. She had a broken spine. One of her lungs collapsed. She had a lot of injuries, y'all. And so the reason why they said she survived was because she jumped out of a plane at a lower altitude. She had a smaller frame, and she had just landed on a newly soft plowed field. Now at this time, the parachute club, they were like, wait a minute. For the main parachute to malfunction, that's one thing. But for the reserve parachute too, the malfunction, immediately they start investigating. They take a look at her main parachute. They realize, yes, her main parachute, the cords were tangled around her parachute. The reserve parachute, they were like, you know what? This parachute is missing two major attachments. And it was the slinks. So the slinks, I believe the slinks attached to the harness to the parachute. So they was like, wait a minute, this is major. So they decide that they wanted to take a closer look at Victoria's reserve parachute. They stripped it down. They looked at everything that could have possibly went wrong. They could not find any mechanical fault. Also, her reserve parachute was just looked at. They had just looked at her reserve parachute 2 months before her incident, and everything was intact. The slinks were there. So they're like, wait a minute. They decided that they about to get on the phone and they about to call the police and let the police know, like, hey, something ain't right. So the police opened an investigation, and they also had to contact the BPA, which is the British Parachute, which is the British Parachute Association. They also did investigating, and they couldn't find any mechanical fault either. So a close friend of Victoria decided that she wanted to call the police and let the police know, like, hey, something ain't right. And I feel like Emil has something to do with her parachute, because from what Victoria tells me all the time, her relationship with her husband is very toxic. Is a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of verbal abuse, and it's very toxic. So the police was like, okay, that was enough for them to go and arrest Emil. So they arrest Emil, and they was interrogating him for about 6 hours.
You went to get Victoria a parachute?
Yes.
Tell me about the checks you did.
It's just standard checks, as you should do as a parachutist.
Okay, well tell me what those standard checks are. I don't know, I don't parachute.
Okay, I'm sure you can investigate and answer the right questions to the right people in regards to checking a parachute.
Okay, I'm asking you, Emil,
I can't remember.
because you obviously
Right.
did the checks.
Yes, I would just do the standard checks.
So Emil revealed that he was having an affair with this lady named Stephanie. She is the skydiving instructor, and he met her off Tinder. He also revealed that he was in debt to a lot of payday companies. He was having an affair with his ex-wife, Carly. He was going to swingers clubs. He was meeting up with escorts. Like, he was on one, okay? It was also brought to the investigators' attention that morning that Victoria took her jump, Emil had her parachute kit on his back, and that he took his daughter to the bathroom at the parachute facility, and he was in the bathroom for a while. And he said it was because his daughter said she had to go to the bathroom. But the police, they're not going for that. The police ended up going to the home, and they started to talk to Victoria. They wanted to talk to Victoria to let her know, like, hey, Emil have been arrested for attempting to murder you. And she's like, what? No, he wouldn't do anything like that. She started crying. She started screaming a little bit. Mind you, she's still recovering. And she still was like denying it. She like, there's no way my husband would try to kill me. Like, y'all bugging. They like, no, your husband definitely was trying to kill you. And so they asked her like, well, what about the whole parachute kit that your husband had on his back that he took into the bathroom? She's like, oh, well, he was only in there for like 3 minutes. So she was like, that doesn't mean anything. So they was like, is there anything that happened around the time of your incident? Is there anything that you could think of? She's like, well, this one time, she was like, this one time I woke up, I went downstairs, and I smelled gas. She seen that the gas pipes was loose. They asked her like, well, where was Emil? And she like, well, Emil didn't stay home that night. He actually went to stay at the army barracks just so he can get an early start the next day. She was like, it was just only me and the kids. And the police like, nah, I think that was his first attempt. to get you up out of here. Police was like, you know what could we do to get her to talk a little bit more about Emil, because they really didn't have anything on Emil. They didn't know anything about him. So they were trying to get some information about him, but Victoria, she was just so airtight. She wasn't having it. So they're like, you know what we could do? We could let her know, show her the interrogation video, and let her see that her husband really don't want to be with her.
Tell me about your relationship with Victoria.
It's not a marriage that I would want to be in anymore. I can't see myself being in a marriage in 10, 15 years time.
And so she was like, she was so heartbroken. She was so sad. And then she said, you know what? I'm gonna let y'all know everything. She said when Emil was 16, he lived in South Africa and he was with this lady named Nicolene. They had two kids together. Emil actually decided that he was gonna go to the UK to try to see if he can make some extra money so he could send back money to Nicolene and the kids in South Africa. Never happened. Emil had stayed himself in the UK. He said he was staying there permanently. He contacted his mom and said, hey mom, can you take Nicolene to dinner so you can break the news to her that I'm not coming back? So that's what his mama did. And she said, so when he permanently stayed in the UK, he decided to join the British Royal Army. And he ended up meeting Carly, his ex-wife, who's now his ex-wife, but at the time, So he ended up meeting her. They got married and they had 2 kids together. Then she was like, you know what? That morning when I came downstairs and I smelled the gas, she said, actually, yes, I smelled the gas, and I was also able to see that the pipes were loose. But not just that, I saw some blood on like the little nozzle thing. And she said, and it's strange because Emil had a cut on his finger that she was actually helping him for a few days, taking care of it. And so she said she texted Emil and she let him know that the gas pipes was loose. And then she says, you know what? When I told y'all that he was in the bathroom with my parachute kit for only 3 minutes, he wasn't. He was actually in there for 5 to 10 minutes. Y'all, so during the Emil trial, Victoria takes the stand. She tells the court, I was too embarrassed to say this. She says she lied. She actually was the one who messed with 2 good parachutes. She said she accidentally cut her parachute and she messed up the other one. Then she says, and I also lied about the gas pipes. I was the one who was messing with it. And she said, and you know what else? I lied about the time that Emil was in the bathroom with my parachute kit. He wasn't in there for 5 to 10 minutes. He was actually in there for 3 minutes. So she recanted her story again. So, because the first time she told them, oh, he was only in there for 3 minutes. Then when she found all that stuff about her husband affairs and things like that, then she said, oh, well, he was actually in there for 5 to 10 minutes. Now she's recanting again in his trial, saying, well, he was actually in there for 3 minutes. She said that she was really upset with him. She was heartbroken at the fact that he was having all these affairs. So she lied again. The jury, they deliberated for about 4 days, and they said that they was unable to come up with a verdict. So Emil, he walks out of the courtroom that day. So he walks out of the courtroom that day. About a year later, he has a retrial. So he has a retrial, and they said they're going in this time. The prosecutor was like, you know what? We about to set him up. We about to come with all the facts. We better come with all the evidence. They said they gonna try to prove that he did not love Victoria. He did not care about Victoria. They was like, they coming with that heat this time. And they did. They showed so much stuff. They showed his his text messages between the escorts, his ex-wife. They showed his Google searches. They showed that he was actually looking for a wet nurse the day before his wife incident. And if I can recall, a wet nurse is someone who has milk in her breast and she's able to feed the baby when the mom is not able to. Correct me if I'm wrong. The other messed up thing is that this man was on his way to see his wife. She's in the hospital, right? She's recovering from all of her injuries. He's texting the escorts. He's looking up prostitute websites and all kinds of stuff. And next to her bed, he's sitting there. He's sitting there also texting escorts and looking up websites and all that. That did not look good at all to the jury. So after 6 weeks of the jury deliberating, they come back and they say he's guilty. They said he's guilty on 3 counts. The 2 accounts was for attempting to murder his wife. The other one was for reckless endangerment of his children. They was able to get him, so they gave him life in prison. But also, Victoria could not come to terms with that, y'all. She still was like, there's no way her husband did that.
I still can't quite get to grips with the whole my husband tried to kill me slant. Especially as for both incidents, I was there and I still can't remember or think of an opportunity when he actually did these things. So that's part of the reason that I'm struggling to process it all.
She said, now, my husband is a lot of things. Yes, he's cheated on me. Yes, he's, texting all these escorts and in debt and all that stuff. She said, that's one thing. But to say my husband tried to murder me? When he went to prison, she was visiting him. Like, she would go and visit him. She said she was visiting him because she really wanted to get down to the bottom of it. She wanted to get some answers. And then she said one day she just woke up. And she was just like, you know what? Maybe my husband, maybe he have been manipulating me this whole time.
Actually, it all starts making sense. That, yes, slowly and gradually I was being manipulated and abused mentally.
And so she was like, you know what? She got a divorce. She divorced them. So the investigators believe that during his first trial, she had been manipulated. Because remember, she recanted all the stuff that she told him. The whole, she messed with her own parachute. She messed with the pipes at the house. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all this. So when she was at the prison, right, and she was visiting him, he had told her, I don't have nobody. You're the only person that I have. Because none of Emil's friends, none of his co-workers, none of them came to see him during his trial. They didn't go see him in prison. They didn't answer none of his phone calls from prison. Like, nobody shows up. And then he goes to tell her, oh, you're the only person I have. You see how that works? When they was interrogating Emil, right? When he started talking about Stephanie, the one he met off Tinder, he started crying. And they were looking like, what is he crying about? Right? He was crying because she had broke up with him. But here's the thing. When he was in there talking about his wife, that, what went on, or when investigators were talking to him about his wife, her injuries, all that, no tears. So crazy. This is non-dairy ice cream by Ben & Jerry. It's chocolate chip and cookie dough. Oh! And during the investigation, y'all, this man not one time say he did not try to murder his wife. Not one time. If you was not guilty, usually people say, I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. I forgot to tell y'all this. He upped the life insurance on Victoria. So it's like, that was motive. Because he wanted to pay off a lot of his payday loans, and he was going to actually have a lot left over to do whatever he wanted to do, probably take she broke up with him, but at the time he probably was going to take his girlfriend Stephanie that he met off Tinder on like vacations, because he actually took Stephanie on vacations. Yeah.